Hello everybody, I want to talk to you about an incident that happened concerning Islam and Mohammed. If you don't already know, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the creators of South Park, have depicted Mohammed again in a new episode. They have received death threats from radical Muslims. Now the people who are threatening them have said that they don't think it's a death threat, they think it's a warning. They warned that if they carried on like this, they would be murdered. On top of this, they posted Matt Stone and Trey Parker's addresses on their website. That is not a warning. In doing that, they are facilitating an attack. So it isn't a warning, that's crap. It's a threat that they clearly advocate being carried out. Now since then, Got That Funk has sent out a request to fellow YouTubers to make a video depicting Mohammed. Now, me personally did not want to do a little video, jokingly drawing Mohammed with a funny turban and saying, this man is wanted. Because I wanted to actually get to the root of the problem. I wanted to know why it is considered blasphemous to depict Mohammed. And the reason really is quite telling. It's not because depictions of Mohammed have some sort of grisly history. There wasn't like a slaughtering of Muslims by non-Muslims who were also drawing pictures of Mohammed having sex with animals and stuff like that. That never happened. That's not the reason why many Muslims oppose depictions of Mohammed. They oppose it because they believe it might encourage idolatry, in that people might worship the image instead of what it represents. That's why they have a problem with Mohammed being depicted. So I don't think it's particularly offensive to do this. This is Mohammed. He's even waving for you if you have a look. He was a great man. Do not idolize this image, but praise Mohammed himself and his teachings. Now, obviously I don't agree with this because I'm an atheist and I disagree with all religions to some extent. But I'm doing this within what should be considered okay and not within Islam. I don't see how that is a problem. It didn't show Mohammed in a disrespectful light. It talked him up. It made him seem good. And it told you specifically not to idolize the image, but to consider the teachings and the messages that Mohammed gave to the world. I don't see how that is blasphemous. And in fact, many Muslims don't. The Ottoman Empire showed him in a respectful light many times, without any degree of censorship. Now, even though Matt Stone and Trey Parker aren't specifically encouraging Islam, they aren't defiling him. In the first episode they did of him, they showed him as a benevolent force in the world. Granted, he was comically represented as a superhero, but he wasn't represented disrespectfully. And in the new episode, you don't even see him. He's inside a bear costume. Again, a little comical, but not offensive. And yet people are sending death threats. That is a complete overreaction. And it suggests to me that radical Muslims are not understanding why it was originally discouraged to show Mohammed. It suggests to me that they're dogmatically following a rule without understanding its intent. They're blindly following a rule that they don't understand. Now, of course, there are depictions of Mohammed that could be considered offensive. The most famous one being this one, a depiction of Mohammed with a bomb for a turban. As many of you will know, it caused worldwide controversy and a few people were even killed. Now, I do believe that this image is somewhat offensive. I think it paints all Muslims with the same brush, that all Muslims are following the teachings of a terrorist. It is somewhat disrespectful. But first of all, it isn't that bad. It's not the worst thing that could have been shown. And second of all, I absolutely support showing it because I support free speech. Basically, I feel that a lot of Muslims are getting angry at a depiction of Mohammed without fully understanding why exactly it was discouraged in the first place. And why, in reality, it isn't actually that bad. At the very least, not in the case of the depictions of Mohammed in South Park. So, I just want to say, Muslims who are angry about this, calm the fuck down. There is no reason to be this angry. And I realise that many radical Muslims interpret the Quran in their own specific way in order to justify attacks. And so saying calm the fuck down won't really register with them, because they just don't care about the facts. But seriously everybody, there is no reason to be getting this angry about depictions of Mohammed. Especially not in these cases. There is absolutely no justification for this level of anger. To all the radical Muslims who believe that it is well within their rights to take the lives of people who insult something they believe, you are the part of humanity that will be looked back upon in future generations with disgust. You will not win. There is absolutely no way that you are going to achieve a completely Islamic world. And I know you don't really care much for facts or evidence that runs contrary to your beliefs because you think you've got Allah on your side. But the factual evidence, which has proven itself to be much more reliable than any blind faith could ever hope to be, is against you. You will not win. And one day, a day which you admittedly may never see, you will be looked back upon by your descendants with nothing but disgust and embarrassment. Of course, I'm not asking for violence against Islam. I didn't create this channel to be offensive. I created this channel to learn and educate myself, and hopefully to educate others. But this kind of extremism will never prove or solve anything or create anything positive. all it does is hinder human progress. Thanks to everybody who watched this. Theists, non-theists, atheists, Christians, Jews, Muslims. I may not agree with everything you say, but surely we can be united against extremism. Goodbye.